Ladies and gentlemen, I have in my hands the brand new LG G6. Let's take a look. Alright, so exciting day here for Helper Geeks. The LG G6 just came. I have Verizon, so I have the Verizon version, but it's basically going to be the exact same phone on all the US carriers. Slightly different with international models, but we're just going to talk about the US model here. Let's open it up, take a look. So, I have the Platinum version. There's Platinum and Black with Verizon. Right off the bat, one thing I noticed about this phone is it looks great. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the LG G5, but it was a very strange looking phone. They tried a new modular design that didn't really catch on with consumers very well. Previous versions of the G series, which is one of LG's main flagships, if not the main flagship for them, they were more of the plastic back and not nearly as premium of a design. This phone blows all of those previous versions out of the water in terms of build quality and premium design, and you could just tell that right off the bat. It's got a nice metal frame on the outside, very similar to the iPhone and the Pixel and the Samsung phones, the Galaxy phones right now. You can see some spots there for the antennas. And then what you probably noticed right off the bat about this phone is it has very thin bezels and a huge display. In fact, it takes up 80% or maybe even a little bit more of the front of the phone. The 80% is display, which is pretty incredible. Nobody's ever done that. It actually makes the phone an 18:9 aspect ratio, which is kind of interesting. So it'll be interesting to see how apps are developed to fill that. But what's great about the way they designed this, and I've read about it and I can tell just by holding it, is this is a much more comfortable phone to hold in one hand than the other big phones, but yet you still have the nice big screen. So I think what they're really trying to do here is capture sort of a gap in the market where you either have a really big phone that's kind of hard to hold in one hand, or you sacrifice a little bit of screen space and get a smaller version of a phone. And it's much easier to use one-handed. So if they can sort of hybridize the two, which they're trying to do here, it's really a unique experience. So you can see it's much more screen real estate than any other LG phone on the market, and really the only one that compares to it right now is the upcoming Galaxy S8, which has the infinite display, but also very thin bezels, no more button on the front for the Galaxy. LG never had the button on the front, they've always had it on the back, so that remains. Nice glass but metal finish design on the back. One of the nice things about being a glass finish is that it is able to be wirelessly charged. So if you have a wireless charger, you can take advantage of it with this phone, which is really cool. You can see it has the dual camera. I believe they're 13 megapixel dual camera. We'll talk about that more. I'll do a more in-depth review of this phone and kind of show the differences between using the single and dual mode with the camera. Like I said, you have the button, which also has a fingerprint sensor on it, but it's still a physical button, which will serve to turn on and off the phone, go home, and things like that. So they haven't abandoned the physical push button, but it's still on the back, still has the fingerprint sensor like the previous models of the G5 and the V10 and V20 phones. So yeah, just initial impressions of it before even turning it on. Very gorgeous, very beautiful, much more premium than any LG phone that they've had on the market. Very thin, great to hold in one hand, really slick looking, really premium looking phone. I'll power it up and we'll show you some more. Alright, so I got it all powered up and activated, so you can see it with the display actually on and just kind of see how much real estate the display takes up, but how physically the phone has some very thin bezels, especially compared to previous models of just about any phone that are out there right now. But I wanted to show you something real quick here. I wanted to compare it. I have an iPhone 7 Plus in my hands, which I like because of the larger screen size. But it's a noticeably bigger phone, the iPhone 7 Plus is. But what's interesting is when you just compare the two side by side visually, you can tell that you're not sacrificing the display on the LG G6 by making it a smaller phone that's more one-hand friendly. So you're not sacrificing display at all. In fact, it's probably the same, if not a little bit bigger than the iPhone 7 Plus. I don't know the exact specs off the top of my head. I'd have to look. But That's really cool because it's physically a smaller phone, but you still have that wonderful big sort of phablet style display. And you can just see, sort of holding them together, how it's a smaller phone. So it is definitely more one-hand friendly than some of the bigger phones that are out there on the market right now. And that's really cool that they're able to sort of get the best of both worlds. So just initial impressions, really pretty display. It's a Quad HD display, I believe, if not 4K. I'll post some of the specs on this video as well, so you can kind of see them. If you're in the market for a new phone, the bottom line is this is a really great Android phone. It's really pretty. I've already shown you some of the key features hardware-wise. Has USB-C charging. I didn't really mention that before, but it does. But it's a great, solid Android phone, and it's going to be a pretty worthy competitor to the Galaxy S8 phone that's coming up. Obviously, people love the Galaxy phones; they love iPhones, but it's nice that there's other options, and the LG is sort of upping their game a little bit here from previous versions of the G phone by making a much more premium quality phone than they've ever really made before. And that's great, especially, like I said, I can't get over the big screen size, but yet the small form factor of the phone. It's very interesting. You still have to reach, you might have to use two hands to cover the whole length of the phone here, so it's not a completely one-handed device, but it's much more comfortable to hold than something like the iPhone or other iPhone 7 Plus or other similar sized big phones, and with just a really gorgeous display. I'll do a more thorough review of this with some of the key software features, but just wanted to give you those initial impressions of the phone and just give you an idea of what it looks like right out of the box. If you have any comments, questions, or anything like that, go ahead and post them. Please like our videos. Please subscribe if you can, and share with your friends too. This is Jeff with Helper Geeks. Thanks for watching.